Hello, welcome back to the series of nostalgic films. I guess I haven't really explained, um, really and truly, what the kind of idea was, which is basically from the year I was born till now, I'm going to watch a film from every year. Obviously, I would have seen it in that year, but a film, every film, a film from that year that I've seen before that I rate highly and I feel has given contribution to informing what kind of films I like, and that kind of thing. And then the following series will be films that are again noteworthy from 1985 until now, that I haven't seen before, which will all be newbies. So here is the nostalgic series or nostalgia, and then the newbies, which will be all first time reactions. Um, it's a little bit of a passion project really, and then going forward from there, I've got a couple more ideas. Again, it will be a mix of films that I've seen before and not, but I'm going to try and lean more towards first time reactions because, um, uh, I mean, a lot of the films I've seen before, I've seen several times, and you know, I don't really want it to be kind of a bore. I think it'd be much more interesting to watch films that I've not seen before and give my first time reaction on those. Of course, those classics, that everybody should apparently see, we'll be getting through as well. Like I say, I've got lots of ideas to come, which I'll hopefully be sharing with you as the weeks go by. And yeah, we'll be getting into today's film very, very soon. So today's film is Labyrinth, which I probably saw when I was probably 10, one Saturday afternoon. Had never heard of it, seen anything about it previously. Was at my dad's for a weekend, and then just kind of was thrown into this world with David Bowie and the songs of Labyrinth, and yeah, and then obviously now Jennifer Connelly, she's in some of the Marvel films. She's what's she done? Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big follower of her career really, but yeah. Um, right, let's get into today's reaction. So, similar to the Never-Ending Story, I've got very vivid memories of this film. So, um, I guess reaction-wise for you guys, it might not be all that interesting because um, you're not kind of like I say, I've seen it before. I realised through my first video that I'm maybe slightly too quiet and maybe a little bit reserved. Just kind of getting used to speaking on camera while watching a film at the same time, I guess. And like I say, with the first time reactions, I think that they'll be much more engaging, as you'll be getting a first time response to something I've not seen before. Um, I, I guess I know that other people's reactions channels that maybe kind of not really been into film previous or whatever. I'm the complete opposite, whereas I've been into film for a long time. Loved going to the cinema as a kid. I've seen a lot of films, and I've seen a lot of like modern classics at a relatively young age. Um, my mum predominantly is a person that's probably has shown me a lot of film. Um, it was her that showed me Tarantino for the first time when I was probably about 14, 15. Um, and not, maybe not at the time, you don't quite realise how unique that is to see that kind of material, that kind of that level of writing. You don't realize it until you kind of absorb other material that you actually realize that there are great levels to filmmaking in terms of like the level of writing that can be achieved. You know, like Pulp Fiction. Watching people's reactions, first time reactions to Pulp Fiction on YouTube is just, you know, a lot of what they say is, you know, the way that they speak, you know, the dialogue is just, you know, very engaging, and you know, you come to realise that later after having absorbed it maybe multiple times with Tarantino. Um, so yeah, like I say, this is slightly similar to there's Julot's dog. Um, Merlin. It's kind of nice to see like a young female lead as well in these kind of stories, because normally it's like a little boy, isn't it? Or do you know what I mean? Or maybe like a group, whereas you know she's going to be the main focus. As and similar to the Neverending Story, the music's really good. Obviously, David Bowie, Jareth, the Goblin King.
Plans.
Well, how do you know? You don't know what my plans are. You don't even ask me anymore.
Well, I assume you'd tell me if you had a date. I'd like it if you had a date. You should have dates at your age.
Ah, Sarah, you're home.
Petulant child. I did a little bit of reading on IMDb and just scoured the internet a little bit before watching this film, and there was kind of things that were said prior to obviously, sorry, when the film was released, that was they felt that the use of a child, or one critic said the use of a baby was kind of gratuitous. You know, crying baby was like you know, in the later part of the film, and a little bit kind of I don't know what the words were now, but basically they're not a nice thing to do, but it's kind of the story focuses on her getting her baby brother back. Again, her petulance. And you can kind of, you know, this kind of Wizard of Oz kind of thing where you can kind of see the things that will kind of crop up later on in her room, the puppets and some of the imagery that's, you know, Lancelot becoming like he shows up later on. Off the first visions of the puppets that are going to be used. They've got British accents as well, which is even better. And then suddenly, like a French circus man was the hands. And Bowie's like the perfect casting for this. Again, as with the Never-Ending Story, the set design throughout this film is really well done. several really well done sets, along with character design, like Hoggle. Hoggle gives it the big one, but then kind of stutters. Are you really gonna go in there? He knows what's in there. It's Hoggle. Everything's got some sort of character to it, sparkles or the moss with eyes and all that kind of stuff. It's not just generic looking. And something else that you don't see a lot anymore, like scores, like original scores for film. Here she is. I said hello. Fantastic East End worm. Again, now we're on a new set. It's full of character. For obvious reasons, there will be cuts when there's the musical segments. Unfortunately, they are some of the best parts of the film, but needs must. This would have been like my introduction to David Bowie as a musician as well. um, songs very catch like all the songs are really catchy and like really set the mood. Uh, Nice to have the goblins like involved in the chorus as well. Um, Wonderful piece of set. It's his clock with the daggers for the clock hands. Mm-hmm. And all the goblins and characters are very distinct as well. They're not kind of like grouped together. They're all nice and individual. She's about to realise. And now we've got Scottish. Uh, Glaze. And this bit's fantastic with all the hands. Talking hands and faces. Like, it's a very small scene, and there's all this kind of effort put in with making making each part of this film and her journey feel unique. Like, you could just keep it as walls and maybe change up the colour a little bit and maybe throw some different characters along her way, but they've got all these amazing little set elements. Well, as she goes through the door, previously she says it's a piece of cake. And apparently, every time someone says in this film it's a piece of cake, something literally bad happens straight after. Again, you know, we're here for about 30 seconds and they've put in so much effort into this set. Bowie's costume is distinct, shall we say. It's an ongoing joke that no one can get Harple's name right as well as funny. Headwart. And here we are in another beautiful set. Apparently, this vase ended up in the set designer's own back garden. Again, like a great character, a great costume, and all that kind of stuff. You can see that his attitude comes from not having any friends. He did say, Sarah friend. With very distinct characters, again, like the Doors, with the Scottish dog like creatures. I always enjoyed these. Always enjoy these door knockers. We're harping on this set design thread. You know, we've gone. I don't know how many different places we've been now. The film's only 90-ish minutes long, and again we're in a new place, a new environment. Another distinct environment. The face. He's always there. fuckhead. Hog brain. Again, the distinctiveness of Bowie's costume. These are reminiscent of the puppet that is in her bedroom. Um, there's a bit Scar like music here. The CG, for the most part, I think, kind of the crystal balls are obviously not very crystal ball like, but they pass. Whereas here, it's very obvious that we're not on a set. And speaking of the CG, the owl at the very beginning, that's at the beginning credits, is one of the first use of CGI for animals. Well, the distinctiveness of the characters, not just by look but with voice as well, is really well done. So we've had kind of very regional accents, and we had a bit of American broad in there as well, but we've got distinctiveness of character all the way through. The bog of eternal stench. We get a very distinct audio here, I guess, to maybe insinuate what it smells like. We can hear the burping sounds as well. Some very anatomic geezers. Again, distinct set, and it's not small. It's another big environment. He's kind of Basil Brush like character. Sir Didymus. Just give us your permission. I wouldn't be too sure about putting my feet on any of those rocks that have just come out of there, but especially my bare foot. It's cheap, but it's so funny. Again, cheap, but funny. I find it odd that she makes no mention that this looks exactly like her own dog at any point. The betrayal. The music in this part again is this song and these scenes are fantastic. Obviously, like I said, the French circus performer, not his hand at work here. This song is fantastic, and then the visuals that go along with it. I'm going to show some of this without the music. I just think the visuals are fantastic. I mean, as far as masquerade balls go, this is opulence. His hair is absolutely incredible. The costume designer had an absolute field day in this part. We want you to do a goblin masquerade party. She's even though she doesn't really know what's going on, she remembers that she's got something that needs to be done. Again, another big looking set and another distinct character. It doesn't seem to go 15 minutes in a very short film without meeting someone or something that's very distinct. You can see the labyrinth like staircase on her wall. And kind of Jareth looking figurine on the table there. Fantastic. The horse making dog noises. Dog making horse noises. Much like the kind of cleaner device that they found was just goblins operating it. And it wasn't cowardly of him to take on the goblin in the big suit. And he did it for his friends. And the suit of armour being part of the gate is really well done. I have another technical issue. Managed to not record the last 20 minutes of my reaction. So here's the other 20 minutes of my reaction. And there's that line again. Let's just click that there's something about Lucius Malfoy about Jareth, or something about Lucius Malfoy. Yeah, there's something about each of them. And this is this time I mention set. This is kind of the finale. That's grand. And like she had it on her wall as well. This is Jareth's final play. To use the last kind of confusing part of the labyrinth. Kind of gone from being a domineering force to afraid. Again, great music at the end here. And she's running out of time. Desperate times call for desperate measures. What will she do? She'll have to risk it. Jareth's last costume looks like the owl. And a distinct look again. He's currently the king of gaslighting. He's tried to impress her all the way through, and also kind of frighten her, and throw a snake around her neck, and now he's begging. Of course, after her adventure, she's grown up now. She can live without the teddy. Everyone's shouting around the house with a baby asleep. Scar puppet. Game of Scrabble. And there's the owl. It kind of starts with him landing and it ends with him flying away. Okay, so that's the end of Labyrinth, everyone. Really enjoyed it again. I haven't seen it many times, but really enjoyed it. I've probably seen it. That'll probably be the 4th or 5th time I've seen it. Lots of vivid memories. Music's really good. I've listened to music kind of separately from watching the film. Yeah, I know that some people think it's a bit campy, a bit kitsch or whatever, but I would say it's a decent film. Give it a good solid 8 out of 10. If I had children, I'd definitely be getting them to watch that. You know, in their early years. I'm not going to review the film. I'm just going to let you know that obviously enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next film on the list, which is a film from 1987, which will be a departure from the last 2 films that we've watched, which will be definitely a step up in terms of themes and all of those kind of things. I'm going to tell you what it is, and just let you know that it's from a well-known director, whose other works I haven't seen lots of, so we'll be watching some of those as well as we go forward on the channel. Because I've kind of got a timeline of what it is that I want to watch. I'm kind of going to stick to this order of getting these kind of almost first 100 films out of the way. I don't know when we'll be watching them. I might watch them in between or whatever and just kind of bank them and then just kind of let them, I might do a series of I'm going to watch the films of this director, I'm going to watch the films of this director, and maybe release them in that kind of fashion. But yeah, well-known director, film from 1987. That I'm very, very looking forward to seeing again. I haven't seen, again, I've probably only seen it twice. A film that I probably saw when I was about 15 or 16. And I hope that you'll enjoy it with me. So thank you very much, everyone, and yeah, let's continue on this journey together. Right, signing out.